Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Burton. Today we are going to be doing something that I'm hoping that we can continue throughout the rest of the school year, but I'm going to call it and label it Books with Miss Burton. So today I'm going to be reading one of my favorite books from my childhood around when I was your age, and it is The Berenstain Bears, Forget Their Manners. I love the Berenstain Bears. There's always a lesson at the end, and it was just always so fun to read these stories when I was your age. So I really hope that you enjoy it and take something away from it as well. And I think that the title, Forget Their Manners, is very fitting for right now where we are all at home and sometimes we get just a little too comfortable and we all get a little too snippy with one another. I think it's important to remember to still practice good manners and to practice good habits, even though we may feel a little tired of being at home and ready to go outside and do something different, but we just have to remember to be kind to one another as we continue through this. So I just need for you right now to listen very carefully as I read the story to you all. I am actually going to be posting a small quiz after this video. You guys will be able to see it on Dojo, and I'm just going to take a picture of my handy dandy marker board that I have. And it's a 10-question quiz. I think that you guys are going to be more than capable of doing this at home, and all I need for you all to do to answer is write down A, B, or C, or I have a couple other questions where you will just write out an answer. So when you are writing out your answers, I want you to be sure to use full sentences, capitalization, punctuation. Everything should be proper, just as if this was a quiz you were taking at school. You will earn a Dojo point if you submit a picture of your work to me. So please be sure to do that. I would love to see how you all react to this book. It was one of my favorites, so I'm very excited to be sharing it with you. So first, we will do a prediction just based off of the cover. So you guys can pause me as you all are studying the cover, and I have a couple questions that you all can think about as this is paused. So I do ask that you pause me after I tell you the questions, okay? So the questions are, and you need to just ask yourself these questions or ask your mom and dad, your mama and papa if they're watching it with you, or just ask yourself, okay? What might happen in this story? What do you think will happen in this story just based off of the cover and based off of the title? Based from the cover, who has forgotten their manners? Who has forgotten their manners just based off of the picture? And based off of the cover, how have they forgotten their manners? So how can you tell if someone has lost their manners? Feet on the table? Is it someone standing up in their chair? What is it? So now that I've told you the questions, go ahead and pause me and think to yourself. Okay, so now we will get started and we will begin. This is The Berenstain Bears, Forget Their Manners. This is written by Stan and Jan Berenstain. Etiquette for bears. Please and thank you help quite a lot to make a polite bear out of one who is not. There was trouble in the big treed house down a sunny dirt road deep in bear country. Trouble with manners. The bear family's trouble with manners was that they forgot them. So there's Mama Bear. She's looking kind of a little bit worried. Even the squirrel's looking a little bit worried. The bird's looking worried. And you see Papa Bear, Sister Bear, and Brother Bear. Looks like they're arguing. At first, it was just an occasional please or thank you that was forgotten. Then there was a rude push without an excuse me. Then a reach across the table instead of a please pass the broccoli. Mama Bear wasn't quite sure how or why it happened, but she was sure of one thing: whatever the reason, the bear family had become a pushing, shoving, name-calling, ill-mannered mess. So there's the siblings as they're fighting with one another, calling each other names, not being very kind to one another. At the table, it was even worse. They were a grabbing, mouth-stuffing, food-fighting, kicking under the table, super mess. So there's the siblings fighting over food, throwing food at one another, and there's Papa Bear just sitting at the table, taking it all in. Of course, Mama Bear tried to correct Brother and Sister Bear's behavior. She tried coaxing, she tried complaining, she tried shouting, she tried going to Papa for help, though it sometimes seemed to Mama that he was part of the problem. Papa banged on the table and shouted as only he could shout, but nothing really seemed to do any good. Do you think that the parents were trying to help by shouting? Mama didn't like what was happening to her family. Not one bit. Something had to be done. But what? The best way to fight bad habits, she thought, was with good habits. Then she thought of a plan. She got a big piece of cardboard and a marker. At the top she wrote, "The Bear Family Politeness Plan." There she is writing it. When the plan was finished, she called a family meeting and showed it to Papa and the cubs. So here they are, sitting in their living room, I'm assuming, getting ready to hear this big plan that she has for them. It certainly got the Bear family's attention. So then you get to see the plan that she has written. She has it separated. Rudeness, and then the penalty for that rudeness. So, forgetting to say please or thank you. If you forgot to say that, your penalty was sweeping the front steps. Rudeness number 2, pushing or shoving. Beat 2 rugs. Rudeness number 3, interrupting. If you interrupted, you'd have to dust downstairs. Number 4, name calling. You would clean the cellar. Number 5, reaching at the table. Clean the yard. Number 6, playing with food. Wash dishes. Rude noises. You would have to weed the garden. Banging the door. You would clean the attic. Forgetting to say excuse me. You would empty the garbage. And then, lastly, if you would hog the bathroom, you'd put out the trash. Those penalties sound a lot like a list of chores that you'd have to do. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Mama's plan had a list of all of the rude things she wanted to stop. Beside each one was a penalty, a job or chore that went with it. If you forgot a please or thank you, you had to sweep the front steps. If you pushed or shoved, you had to beat 2 rugs. If you got caught name calling, you had to clean the whole cellar. "But Mama," sputtered the cubs, "you're not being fair." "It seems to me," she said, "that you're the ones who aren't being fair to yourselves or anyone else. That's what manners are all about, being fair and considerate. Manners are very important. They help us get along with each other. Why, without manners—" "Your Mama's absolutely right," interrupted Papa. "Thank you, Papa, for your comment, but interrupting is number 3 on the rude list, and the penalty is dusting the downstairs," Mama said and handed him the feather duster. So the politeness plan is not just for the kids, it's for Papa Bear too, so she's putting him to work after he interrupted her. There he is, cleaning away. Said Brother, "this looks serious. I think we better come up with a plan of our own, or we're going to be doing a lot of extra chores." "What sort of plan?" asked Sister. "Well," he said, "instead of just being polite, we'll be super polite. We'll please and thank you so much that Mama will get fed up and call the whole thing off." "Yes," said Sister, will be so polite she won't be able to stand it. Do you think their plan's going to work? Or is Mama going to win? They put their plan into action. They were super polite. On the stairs, "After you, sister dear." "Thank you, dear brother." In the hall, "Excuse me, brother dear." "Why, certainly, my dear sister." Waiting for the bedroom. Not the bedroom, the bathroom. Sorry. Waiting for the bathroom. "Terribly sorry to have kept you waiting. Think nothing of it, my dear." For those with siblings, can you all imagine being super polite to them all the time like that? But it didn't work the way they expected. Mama didn't get fed up at all. And after a while, brother and sister forgot about being super polite and were just polite. At the table, "Pass the honey, please." "Certainly." In their room, "Would you like me to help you pick up your toys?" "Thank you very much." In the yard, "Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump it into you." "That's all right, no harm done." And it turned out that Mama had been right. Things did go more smoothly. Once they got into the good manners habit, they didn't even have to think about it. But it wasn't so easy for Papa. He was the one who got fed up. It's a little harder to change habits when you're older, and he had to do quite a few extra chores for forgetting his manners. "I'm glad to get out of this house, away from that politeness plan," he said as he drove the family along the highway on a trip to the supermarket. In these pictures, he's weeding the garden, sweeping the front steps, beating the rugs, taking out the garbage. He's done a lot of extra chores. Manners and courtesy are just as important away from home, especially on the road, as said Mama as they stopped at a stop sign to let pedestrians and other cars pass. They help us drive safely. And she is right. You have to have good manners when you're driving. "Well," grumbled Papa as they all went into the busy supermarket, "I think you can have too much of a good thing. You've got to have common sense along with manners. Why, if you let everyone go ahead of you at the checkout, you'd be there forever." There he is, trying to prove his point. "And sometimes you have to interrupt." "Excuse me, madam," he interrupted a shopper, "but I believe you have a leaking bottle in your cart." The shopper thanked him for his help. Which is true, sometimes you do, depending on the circumstances. "You see," he said, driving home, "there's more to life than remembering your manners. Besides, manners are all right for cubs and mama bears, but we papa bears have other things to think about." At that moment, the car in the front stopped suddenly and Papa bumped into it. He was furious. "Why, that pin-headed fiddle-brain," he snarled. "Name-calling," reminded Sister. Oh, you'll want to see the pictures. The penalty for name-calling was cleaning the whole cellar, so Papa gritted his teeth and remembered his manners. And a good thing, too, because climbing out of the other car was the biggest, angriest bear he had ever seen. That bear looks a whole lot bigger than him, too. But when the angry bear saw how polite Papa was, he remembered his manners, too. He explained that he had stopped short because a mama duck and her ducklings had crossed in front of him. Then he and Papa Bear looked at their bumpers and saw that no harm had been done. That's good. Everyone was using their manners then. "As I was saying," said Papa, as they continued on their way, "it's very important for us to remember our manners at all times, and I want to thank you, Sister, for reminding me to remember mine." "You're very welcome, I'm sure." said Sister Bear politely. Sister Bear just saved Papa Bear. And that is the end of that story. I hope that you all enjoyed it. The Berenstain Bears is very near and dear to my heart. It was one of my favorite set of books when I was your age. So I hope that you enjoyed it. And you also learned that it's very important to remember your manners as you are at home. Be sure to use kind words when you're talking to your siblings, to your mom and dad, to your mama and papa, or to just your loved ones in general. Just remember to use those manners, and as you continue to use them, they'll become a part of your daily habits. So I'm just going to show you a quick sneak peek of the quiz. I know it's not that exciting, but it's the best I could do. I tried to be tech savvy and post an online quiz, but I was unable to. So we are going to do this, and hopefully I can learn how to create a better online quiz for the next round. But they are just five questions are listed here, but you're going to have 10 in all, and I will post 2 pictures so that you can see all of the questions. But for number 1, I'm just going to read that one, and then I will post the video as well as the pictures of the quiz to Dojo. But just to give you a sneak peek, number 1, who are the main characters in this story? A. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy. B. Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Brother Bear, and Sister Bear. Or C. SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and I wrote Patrick twice, but it's supposed to say Gary, but I can change that before I post a picture. So there is a sneak peek of what type of questions you're going to be answering throughout that little quiz. Just please send me a picture of your work. You will get a Dojo point once I see it and I have graded it and looked at it. Just please be sure to do that. Send me a picture. All you have to do is write the letter or write a sentence depending on the question. Just a friendly reminder that Miss Teager and I miss you very much. We love you very much, and we hope that you are staying safe at home and staying very healthy. And just another reminder, don't forget your manners while you're at home. Think about Brother Bear and Sister Bear, okay? All right, you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye.